And recording. So, not too long ago, I reacted to a band called Wolfheart, a song by the name of The Flood. And I think the main takeaway that I had from that song was kind of like a sense of doom and sadness, a little dread, some melancholy. It had to do mostly with the chord choices, like lots of minor chords and notes, but also just in the tone of the growls of the singer. Like there was an inflection of like pain and sadness in the way that he was approaching the lyrics. So from the comments I got from that video, it seems like that's a recurring theme with this band. This melancholy. So I'm curious to see what else they have to offer. If it's gonna sound similar to what I heard, or if they can expand on that thought process, or like maybe turn that into rage or grief. So, of the suggestions I had, I just picked one at random, a song by the name of Ashes. And I have it queued up right here on YouTube from the Napalm Records account. And this is the official lyric video, so I'll have access to what it is they're actually saying. And go. I like that bass. It's beautiful. Landscape. rewind that a little bit. I actually wanted to stop it a little bit before that riff came in, but I just kind of got hooked. Ooh. Uh, this is a slower tempo kind of song. Like I'd say probably like 80 or 90 BPMs. But you couldn't tell with the double bass going on in the background. The drummer's actually playing surprisingly fast considering how slow the riffage and like melodic picking was at the beginning. Like it's a nice contrast to have that. And there was also some like chords being played on a piano or a keyboard earlier, and it's just kind of layered over top. I believe this band was from Finland, if I remember the comments. Um, so all these sort of vistas and like pictures, I'm assuming are also from Finland, and it's like a beautiful backdrop to like this like hard edge like kind of music, but the desolation like kind of matches with what's being like portrayed. I still haven't seen like any ashes in like the lyrics from what they're saying. Um, it almost seems like you're waking up as far as the lyrics go with the dawn coming up, like you've experienced some despair the night before on account of all the firearms and everything, but now you're waking up to the dawn like it's a new day. Or it could also just be that the ashes created smoke and it was so thick because of all the firearms and the fighting that you're only seeing the sky and the sun now, so it appears like it's dawn. But I'm only at the halfway point, more or less. So let's get back into it. That ended a lot sooner than I was hoping. Yeah, that definitely ended a lot sooner than I was hoping it would, just because I was getting into a groove from it, so I wanted it to continue. Um, of course, right after I talked about how they hadn't mentioned anything about fire and ashes, like literally the next line was about fire and ashes. So it serves me right for talking out of my mouth there without hearing the song in its entirety first. But that's the way it goes. So this does have that kind of sadness to it as well. And judging from that secondary portion of the lyrics, it seemed like a bunch of people had died either fighting a fire literally or metaphorically under the fire of battle because of the firearms. So it seems like a song about remembrance. And what's funny too is in the imagery for the video, you saw Aurora Borealis, the northern lights, which always makes me think of The Simpsons. But that's a different thing. What I never really thought of was that the northern lights actually look kind of like a prism in the sky, like a rainbow, which is probably where the stories of the Rainbow Bridge for Valhalla actually probably come from. Huh. I don't think I've ever thought of that. That's an interesting like point of view. So, if this is the official video from them, the ashes and the bodies being turned into stone, or like, I'm assuming that lyric about the stone was like either tombstones or just like place markers to show where bodies have been, and that kind of transitions into the dawn where you go up into the sky through the Rainbow Bridge into Valhalla. Um, I'm assuming this is kind of like Viking metaphors for everything, just because like in the Viking sort of mythology, from what I understand, a lot of it has to do with fire and burning your dead so that they can reach the sky and reach Valhalla. So the lyrics about the dawn coming and your brothers being buried in ash has to do with a fight or war having happened, and their remains are in the ash, but their spirits and their souls have gone up, and this is kind of like a song of remembrance, kind of. So almost similar to what the flood was, but the flood had me thinking of like a singular one-on-one kind of battle, whereas this is kind of like the aftermath of a huge battle. I might be also looking into this a little too much, but that's what happens when I have access to the lyrics. Musically, the drummer was going crazy. Um, the flood had a sort of like pretty decent solo, and this one had more of like a bridge. So this one wasn't as complicated, but it did have that wall of distortion. But everything again was very slower paced, and like I said earlier, like that melancholy, dread, sadness kind of vibe to it. And I dig it. Like it sounds really powerful and epic. And I think this is one of those bands where like I can probably put on a whole CD and just kind of like melt into the couch. Like I feel like if I need to put myself into a certain mood, like this will do the trick. Like maybe pour myself a nice glass of wine or mead. Yeah, but I'm definitely enjoying this band a lot.